For the last couple months, I've been working on this idea that it is not my job to fix people. I saw it on the Quantum Coach Academy website, and it just has almost, in a sense, transformed my life. Now, of course, I am preparing to be a coach. I am a coach. And so that advice applies to me practically, but I can see in so many areas of my life where I have this great sense of responsibility for something that's just really not actually my responsibility. My first example is this cake order I did last month. I obsessed over if they liked it or not because one person made a comment to me. I was invited to the party, even though I didn't know any of the people. And I was just obsessive whether the cake was good or not. But I ultimately had to realize, even if the cake was bad, that wouldn't ruin the party. And if the cake was perfect, the party could still be ruined. Like, it's not all on me, but I take my work so seriously that I do it as if whatever I'm doing is the most important thing. But the reality is that it's just not. And that puts a lot of pressure on myself and other people who might consider themselves perfectionists or people pleasers. It puts a lot of pressure on us because you just really can't fix people. You can't control the outcome. So I am feeling like people who feel like they're not ready to do something like start a business or offer a service or product, are likely taking on too much responsibility for the end product beyond the product that you give to the user, but taking too much responsibility for how it impacts them or assuming we have too much influence. Even in my own life, I can see that there are things or tools that have been provided to me that have not had the impact on me that was promised. And most of my growth and progress has been made by taking things here and there. I have a therapist whom I love, but I feel like I'm fixing myself. I feel like she provides me not all of the, but many of the tools and much of the reflection in the space to help me change. But I think I'm doing the work myself. And when I look at the influence I have on others as a person who's naturally a coach, who has been sought out randomly by strangers even to give counsel, even if I feel like I can see what's going on with them, if they are not ready to change, they're not going to change. I can give the best advice and they're not going to change. They have to be ready. So it's always sort of like a two-part deal. And all we can do is focus on what we are actually responsible for. So this information has changed or impacted my life in this. Even someone's coming today and I know that this person is depressed, and I last night was like, well, what can I say? What do I think is the issue? What could help? And I had to realize that's not on me. I just need to be a place and a safe space basically to help them do what they need to do. And if they need my advice, once they ask for it, then they're ready to receive it and I can worry about what to do next then. But even still, people want to be their own hero. So I really just need to focus on how I can empower them. Now, in terms of, in another area of my life, my writing is another place I realize I have expected to have more impact than I actually can reasonably expect to have. I used to publish with some regularity on Medium, but over the last 3 years, I have maybe published twice. And I find that I never finish because it's never ready. It's never, I can never achieve the impact that I think that I'm trying to have. Like it never feels like it's quite finished to have the impact I'm trying to have. But what I realize now is I can't control that. Like I'm not, what people will take from what I produce whatever they want to take from it and whatever they're ready to take from it. So me trying to make it perfect is probably sort of just wasting time, because it's probably more important to get the idea out there and then let it become whatever it becomes. Because when I saw It's Not Your Job to Fix People, that was about coaching, and here I am talking about writing and talking about baking cakes. So it really, I just need to do my part and not require it to be perfect, because I still can't control how it impacts someone. In terms of if you're starting a business or you're offering a product or service, it's kind of the same. Now, you do need to make sure you can actually provide the service that you're offering. I have had inverse of this. Like, I bought a course from Wealthy College Kid a few years ago, and it was like she didn't even make sure the course itself was functional, let alone the information. And I had to find people on Facebook to try to figure out what I was doing wrong, and we all just failed, really. So I'm not talking about those people. Some people need to ask, am I actually ready to do this? But those people didn't click this video. So for those of us who are wondering that, there's a good chance that you are ready, as long as you can actually provide the service, and you have too high of an expectation on yourself for what you're supposed to do, what you're responsible for. You can also scale the price back to reflect your level of expertise at this time, but you really can't even, you can never even really become perfect without doing it. So you need to just start doing it. A lot of us who are in this predicament are driven by a sense of inadequacy and external validation. We seek external validation because we were made to meet other people's needs, possibly. And you really can't meet other people's needs. They have to meet their own needs. They're external. You're not internal, so you can't fully embody whatever the requirement is, nor can external validation meet your internal needs, because it is outside of you. Nothing external can actually fully encompass all of the nuances of your need. And if you were made to take care of yourself or others as kids, before you were ready to do so, you may have an innate sense of inadequacy where you just feel inadequate and you overachieve because normal achieving didn't feel adequate enough. It wasn't secure enough. And you just have this sense of inadequacy, which you carry with you and you apply it to different things. It's not the thing that you're not actually inadequate at the thing. You felt inadequate before you even approached the thing. Knowing that and everything else I've said, I hope that when you're considering if you're ready, you can ask yourself, why don't I feel ready? What is my expectation for what I am meant to produce? Is that realistic? Does what I think that I am promising solely rely on me? Or does the person who is consuming the product or service have a hand in how successful it is? Because if that's the case, you can't control that, and you just have to do your best and make sure that what you are providing is something you would also consume. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to change lives. You just have to show up.